all over my timeline, all over my feed, I keep seeing top three this, top three that, top three this. But what about the point guards in this draft class? Looking at it from top to bottom, I feel like this is one of the deepest point guard classes we've ever seen. You guys already seen the title. You know what time it is? 2026 NBA mock draft. Basically, the way it's gonna work is I'm gonna use FanSpo to simulate the mock, and based off of which teams and where they're picking, I'm gonna be choosing prospects. Some teams, if they're win now, they're gonna be drafting for fit. Other teams may choose a high upside guy over a guy that's ranked higher, and other teams might just take the best player available. So we'll see how it goes. So coming up first overall is the Washington Wizards. Second, Oklahoma City, and third is Dallas. This is probably one of the worst outcomes you can see in the lottery. Dallas picking third is fine, but Oklahoma City second, them getting was possibly another All NBA level player on that team. It's gonna make some people turn off the TV and stop watching basketball. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully the Clippers can win some more games. And let's get into this mock though. Washington, they're picking first overall. They're gonna go with Darren Peterson, the guy with the least holes in his game going into this draft. He's long, he's very athletic, and he can score at all three levels. Not only that, but he doesn't even need the ball to score. I've seen so many scenarios this season where he just came off screens and hit tough shots. His shot making is elite, the best in the draft by far. He has the handle. He has the ability to create for his other teammates. And when you pair him up with such a good shooter like Trey Johnson, the looks that those two guys are gonna have, just elite. I mean, the gravity that they'll create from their shot making ability will be able to get each other open. And then, when you combine that with a guy like Alex Sar down low who can also step out and hit the three, I think that's going to be a recipe for success with a guy like Trey Young coming back. Those three guards. Picking second overall, Oklahoma City Thunder, Cam Boozer. He fits in the most with this team. Not because I think he's a way better prospect than AJ. I feel like they're on a similar tier. But I do think that Cam is more pluggable. His ability to knock down open threes, pass the ball, and rebound at a high level, gives out more connective vibes than AJ, a guy who, seems to be needing the ball a little bit more when you're playing on a team like Thunder, who, have Shea, who has one of the highest usage percentages in the league, a guy like J-Dub, who also needs the ball, who also likes to get to the rack, a guy like Cam Boozer who can score on all three levels, it spaces out the floor more, and it creates the ability for him and the rest of the team to be more versatile because they don't have three starters on the court with very similar play styles. AJ, maybe if he had a little bit of a more consistent three, I would consider putting him two, but I think Cam is the way to go here. He reminds me of a Pistons Blake a little bit. Just his ability to rebound, facilitate, and score in the post. Also, when you couple that in with the insane amount of strength that he has, yes, Chet is a great defender, but I think it's going to be a matchup nightmare playing against the Thunder when you have a guy that can shot block like Chet, but a guy with the strength Cameron Boozer has. Yeah, that would be super scary. I hope that doesn't happen for the sake of the rest of the NBA. Third overall will be the Dallas Mavericks taking AJ Dembele. And honestly, I really like this fit. I feel like a few people might look at this and seem like it's a little bit clunky. You have two wings who like to have the ball in their hands, in Cooper Flag and AJ. But because both of them are so good, borderline generational level prospects, I wouldn't say fully there in that Wemby range, but maybe just one below. They're going to figure out how to play together. I mean, look at the Celtics, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. After like the first 3-4 years, they finally started to figure out. I feel like it might be the same situation in Dallas. Once these guys, learn how to play together, click, play off each other, I think this team's going to be so good. AJ reminds me of a young T-Mac. I mean, I seen a clip last week of this guy dribbling, one dribble into the three-point line and just a windmill, one step and then a windmill. I mean, ability to cover that much ground in a short amount of time is something that you just can't teach. Pure length, pure athleticism, the wingspan's insane. I think all the physical tools match up and the production. AJ Dembele, third overall. He can't go any lower than this in the draft. At number 4, I have the Atlanta Hawks picking Caleb Wilson, making his return home to his home state of Georgia. It's actually a really good fit. Since the Hawks traded Trae Young, they've been shopping for a center. Obviously, we know AD went out with that hand injury. Might mess up his trade value even more, but I think if they were smart, they would just wait it out and use the top pick that they have to pick a big. In this case, hopefully they get lucky in the draft, but in this case, they get Caleb Wilson. I think he's an incredible fit for this team. I mean, they need rebounding, they need rim protection. Who has both of that? Caleb Wilson, 11 rebounds per game, top 5 in the country, can block shots. His motor is ridiculous. And what do we know about players with a big motor? They tend to improve a lot over time. I feel like those are the main guys that you can count on to make jumps in their production. And Caleb's one of those guys. His production's already ridiculous, like 19 and 11 as a freshman, living above the rim, the super long arms, the 6'10 frame. This guy just springs off the court when he jumps and dunks. I feel like this is a home run pick for the Atlanta Hawks. And I think he can be the second option on the team if they continue to develop him after he goes there. Number 5, I have the Indiana Pacers taking Jaden Quaintance from Kentucky. Yes, people might be looking at the stats of this one saying he's averaging 5 and 5, but I'm going to tell you right now, go turn on a game and actually watch him for yourself. First time he played on Kentucky this year, 17 minutes, he had 10, 8, and 2. 2s for blocks. And, you know, we've been seeing a lot of that from him since he stepped on as a freshman last year. I'd like to add that he's actually year 2, but he's the same age as all of the freshmen in his class. Same age as Cooper Flagg, actually. His ability to block shots. But even more than that, I feel like he can develop as an offensive creator himself. We're already seeing clips of him going downhill and dunking the ball. So, you know, we know he's going to be a monster in transition. But the half-court ability looks like it's coming along. The handle and the mobility for his size is really good. So I feel like not only is the defense super valuable, probably the best in the draft, but when you look at the offensive upside and the flashes that he's already shown, why not take a chance on him? The team really needs a big man. You need a bigger guy to be paired up with Pascal Siakam, and I think the perfect player for that is Jaden Quaintance. At number 6, I got the Sacramento Kings taking Mikal Brown Jr., and what a move this would be for them. The Kings, all they do is move sideways, mid prospects, make mid trades. Just everything they do is mid, but I think this pick would be exceptional, to be honest. I feel like a lot of people are looking at Mikal, and their opinions on him are a little bit lowered because you see the shooting splits, under 40 from 3, under 30 from the field. But I don't think it matters as much as people are leading on. If you look at the shot selection, he does get a lot of defensive attention. A lot of shots he does take are contested, and a lot of them are from pretty deep. But, you know, given that and given the film, I don't think that he's a bad shooter. I think, if anything, it's just a slow start to the year. Him adjusting to the ACC basketball. Sorry, I was going to say SEC. He almost shot 50% from the field in FIBA, and I don't think people realize how crazy that is because FIBA is one of those tournaments where young prospects go and they're not as efficient in just because it's a different style of basketball. But Mikal still shot 50 from the field almost from 3, and when you compare that shot-making ability to the playmaking, which is also really good, and then also the athleticism, one thing people aren't talking about are just the physical skills that this guy has. He's almost 6'5". This guy can jump out the gym, and he's got a pretty quick first step. He doesn't really use those two things much, which is why people don't talk about it, but really have the creation ability that Mikal has, and you pair that with the athleticism. This guy's almost a can't-miss prospect. I think he still has a lot to put together, but if the Kings just have him and let him rock out for 2-3 years, I think by year 3 we could see him turning into a really good NBA player. First 2 years, probably going to struggle a little bit with efficiency, but by year 3, I think he'll be a great player. Kind of similar to Keontae George, not as a prospect or playing style-wise, but just in terms of the development curve. At 7, we got the Brooklyn Nets taking another guard, Kingston Flemings, and you're probably asking, why do I have them picking a point guard? The Nets, they just don't care. They showed that last year. They're going to pick whoever they think the player that would fit their team the best is, and in this case, it's Kingston Flemings. I don't really think you can pass on him at this range either. He's the best player other than Mikal Brown at point guard. He might even be better. That's up for debate. Just the way this guy plays, the system this guy plays in is, you know, it shows me that he can be a winning player. He plays with such a high defensive motor, so much defensive intensity, but even aside from that, looking outside of the intangibles, the skill and the athleticism is there. This guy lives above the rim. This guy jumps super high. I've seen dunks where this guy's head is almost at the rim. He finishes really strong, and the shooting is there. I mean, over 40 from 3, over 50 from the field. He's just an efficient player. He creates really well in the pick and roll. He has good burst. He has all the tools that you want for a starting point guard. He has all the tools you want for an offensive initiator, and the defense looks like it's going to be good, especially when you pair the effort with the athleticism that he has. I could easily see him being a pest on defense in the league, so I think this would be a great pick for Brooklyn. At number 8, I got the Brooklyn Nets taking Koa Pete. This is a great fit. I think he does everything that Charlotte needs, and on top of that, he fits the positional team need. The weakest position is power forward. He can go on that team and start and, you know, do everything that they need in a power forward that they're not getting right now. He's so strong. This guy's like 240, 6'8", but he's a lean 240. How many players do you see walk into the league as a lean 240? Probably not many. Honestly, I'm trying to name one right now, but I can't think of any. He's kind of got a little smaller version of the Dwight Howard build, broad shoulders, big arms, and, you know, it shows in the way he plays. He's able to back his defenders down, and not only that, but he has a good touch at the rim. So I think the post scoring is going to be there right away. He's going to be able to transition to the NBA seamlessly with the strength. Swing skill for him is going to be 3-point shooting, but I think he's already going to be coming into the league, being a valuable player, being efficient at the rim, being a good defender at the rim, and, you know, just the ability to grab boards and muscle his way into making big plays. At number 9, I have the first off-the-board pick of the draft. That's the Oklahoma City Thunder choosing Braylon Mullins from UConn. He just came on after missing, the first 2 months of the season, finally playing and, looking super good. He's just a really good tough shot maker, shooting very good splits. And, we see him hit the open threes, but one thing that's really impressed me this season is just the tough mid-range shots that he's making. He just seems like an all-around elite shot maker, and that is the one thing that the Thunder have been lacking this season. I mean, if you look at a guy like Caruso, Lou Dort, just other guys, even Cason Wallace is struggling to shoot the ball this season. A lot of inconsistent shooting coming from this OKC team. I feel like they're relying on Shea a lot more than last year in terms of offense. And Braylon Mullins is going to come in and just help space the floor, make things a lot easier for Shea and Jada to click on the scoring ends of things. We know they both like to score in the mid-range. We know they both like to get to the rim. But if you have a guy that can shoot in the mid-range and shoot the three ball at a high level in Braylon Mullins, I feel like that'll work so well in spacing the floor and just help the Thunder take that next step. Obviously, really have them taking Boozer in this draft, but if they end up with Boozer and Braylon Mullins, I mean, you might as well pencil them in for the 2027 ring. This year, they look like they might take it, but next year, get those two offensive engines in and pair them with the elite defense that they already have. This team is so dangerous. At number 10, I have the Milwaukee Bucks taking LeBaron Philon. This is such a good pick for them because outside of Giannis, who's really an offensive initiator on that team? I guess they have Ryan Rollins, but outside of that, I feel like their creation is very, very thin. He can come in and play on a team that already has a very well-spaced offense. The Bucks are one of the best shooting teams in the league, so that'll give him a lot of opportunity to do his own thing, create in the ISO like we've seen him do in college, get to the rim like he likes to do, his nice little three-shot. I feel like that's going to be shot at a high level, given the amount of spacing and just open court that he gets to shoot it. And yeah, I think the offense is going to work. I think Fallon's going to come in and be good right away, especially because out of all the players that I mentioned, he's the only true sophomore player. I guess you can say acquaintance, but he is the age of a freshman. So given the extra year development, I think that's going to be big going into a team that wants to capitalize off of Giannis's prime as much as possible. At number 11, I have the Memphis Grizzlies taking Darius Akuf, one of my favorite prospects in the entire draft. His ability to play with no fear, be the guy to really step up and take the big shots in the clutch. That's going to translate really well in the NBA because to me that shows that he has a lot of confidence. Not only that, but I feel like he plays bigger than his 6'2 frame. He can score really well at the rim despite being a smaller guy, and the floater game is unreal. Most guards need a floater. He has one, and I think that's going to be one of the bigger reasons why he's successful in the league. But even outside of that, the three-point shot's there. 42% from three on very high volume. I think defenders might be respecting it a little bit more going into the season because from what I've seen in the film, a lot of threes aren't super heavily contested. But if you're shooting at 42% on 5 attempts, I don't care what the threes are looking like. They're just going in. So with that being said, 11 to Memphis, Darius Akuf. We know they might be trading Ja going to the deadline. It's more likely than it isn't. So they want a guard replacement. I think Darius Akuf will be the one for them. At number 12, I got the Chicago Bulls taking Chris Sinak from the University of Houston. That's going to be the second off-the-board pick. And, the Bulls, they love to go off the board in these drafts. They pick upside, just like they did last year with Noah Ensege. I have them doing the same thing with this Chris Sinak pick. I think he's going to come into the league, maybe struggle a little bit because offensively we have seen him be a little bit inconsistent, especially to start the season early on. He was shooting very low from the field, and a lot of the shots didn't seem like they're going in. But he's picked up things since then. He can be a really good rim protector in the league and also grab around 8 to 10 boards a game. He has more to add to his game on the creation side of things. I could see him being a really good offensive player. He's shooting 38 from 3 this year, so we know that he has a shot. And if that continues to develop, watch out, guys. I mean, if you pair him there with a guy like Matas Buzelis, if Noah Ensege develops, that wing to big core is going to be really good going forward for the Chicago Bulls. At number 13, I got the Portland Trailblazers taking Keaton Wagler here. This is a fit pick, but he also has super high upside. He's a lead ball handler on an Illinois team that's been pretty good this season, has other NBA players on it, yet to me, he's the one that's been standing out on it. He's efficient, and given the frame, you got to think he'll be a solid defender in the league. He goes to the Trailblazers. He gets to learn under one of the greatest point guards of all time in Damian Lillard, and he also gets to help the problems that this team has had this season. One of the worst passing teams in the league. He's a great initiator. One of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league. He's a great shooter. I think he fits their needs. And on top of that, a 6'6 guard who's efficient and can play make for his teammates. He can't fall lower than lottery. Like, I really can't justify putting him lower than 14 here. At number 14, rounding out the lottery, the San Antonio Spurs are taking Hans Steinbach, the big forward from Washington. Forward/center. I think he can play both positions. Given the size and the rebounding ability and the motor he plays with, I think he's the best rebounder in the draft. Not only that, but he just plays super hard. He's an elite finisher. This guy's got really good touch around the rim, and obviously we know the Spurs, they love their European big men. So I feel like they're gonna go with Steinbach there. He could play similar role to what Luke Cornett is doing this season, except he can do that times 10. Comes off the bench for Wemby, and he's just another terrorizing big man for whatever opposing defense is going to have to guard him. Not only is this guy a demon on the defensive glass, this guy also collects offensive boards like his life depends on it too. Last swing skill for him is developing a little bit of an outside shot. Even if he does it, he's so efficient inside. No matter what, even if he doesn't develop a jumper, he still will find a way to stay on the NBA court and put up numbers. I feel like the production you can't ignore. 18 and 11, like come on, what are we doing here, guys? That is my top 14 for the month of January. Hope you guys like the mock draft. Obviously, a few off the board picks there, so I know you guys are going to agree with everything. If not, let me know what you would pick. But remember, this is my mock draft. My mock draft. So anything you disagree with, remember, this is just my personal preference. And yeah, bro, see you in the next video.